Hello, good evening. Yeah, people here and people online. Yeah, we have a slightly different backdrop today. I thought you can hear me online, right? Yeah, yeah. So a slightly different backdrop in case you got bored with the other one. We have another event going on. Tibetans having their prayers today. Yeah, so today is a special day, right? Day of the descent from heaven. Yeah, so the Buddha's visit to heaven 33. Yeah, maybe I take one of these. So yeah, that means that whatever we do today increases in merit, Yeah. So today we go over. We did some prayers here at Jamyang, and maybe you have joined. I'm not sure, but we also go over continuing with the texts by Nagarjuna, well, Bodhicitta. So there's nothing more superior to go over at a day like this, right? So I'm very fortunate to have a text like that, emptiness and last part Bodhicitta. So try to, especially today, try to generate a superior motivation of going that path, of the Bodhisattvas, courageous path to work for the benefits of beings without exception, whatever it takes. So whatever hardships we have to undergo in order to bring benefit and lead them to the stages of the path to liberation and enlightenment. So generate correct motivation for yourself. And imagine Sakyamuni Buddha in front, and surrounding the Buddha the various lineages of method and wisdom, and then surround yourself those beings who are cycling around in the cycle of samsara, and we want to do something about it. And for that purpose, we lead them into prayers. So based on that, we recite the prayers.
To the founder, the endowed transcendent destroyer, the one gone beyond, the foe destroyer, the completely perfected, fully awakened being, perfect in knowledge and in good conduct, Sagata, knower of the world, supreme guide of human beings to be tamed, teacher of gods and human beings, to you, the completely and fully awakened one, the endowed transcendent destroyer, the glorious conqueror, the subduer from the Shakya clan, I prostrate, make offerings, and go for refuge. To the founder, the endowed transcendent destroyer, the one gone beyond, the foe destroyer, the completely perfected, fully awakened being, perfect in knowledge and in good conduct, Sagata and knower of the world, supreme guide of human beings to be tamed, teacher of gods and human beings, to you, the completely and fully awakened one, the endowed transcendent destroyer, the glorious conqueror, the subduer from the Shakya clan, I prostrate, make offerings, and go for refuge. To the founder, the endowed transcendent destroyer, the one gone beyond, the foe destroyer, the completely perfected, fully awakened being, perfect in knowledge and in good conduct, Sugata, knower of the world, supreme guide of human beings to be tamed, teacher of gods and human beings, to you, the completely and fully awakened one, the endowed transcendent destroyer, the glorious conqueror, the subduer from the Shakya clan, I prostrate, make offerings, and go for refuge. When, O supreme amongst humans, you were born on this earth, you paced out 7 strides, then said, I am supreme in this world. To you who were wise then, I prostrate. With pure bodies, formed supremely pure, wisdom ocean like a golden mountain, fame that blazes in the 3 worlds, winner of the best, Lord, to you I prostrate. With supreme signs, face like a spotless moon, colour like gold, to you I prostrate. Just free like you, the 3 worlds are not, incomparably wise one, to you I prostrate. The Saviour having great compassion, and the Founder having all understanding, the field of merit with qualities like a vast ocean, to you, the one gone to thusness, I prostrate. The purity that frees one from attachment, and the virtue that frees one from the lower realms, the one path, the sublime pure reality, to the Dharma that pacifies, I prostrate. Those who are liberated and who also show the path to liberation, the holy field, qualified with realizations, who are devoted to the moral precepts, to you, the sublime community intending virtue, I prostrate. Homage to the Supreme Buddha, homage to the Dharma refuge, homage to the great Sangha, to all three ever devout homage, to all worthy of respect, bowing with bodies as many as all realms, atoms in all aspects. With supreme faith I pay homage. To not commit any non-virtuous actions, perform only perfect virtuous actions, subdue your mind thoroughly, this is the teachings of the Buddha. A star, a visual aberration, a flame of a lamp, an illusion, a drop of dew or a bubble, a dream, a flash of lightning, a cloud, see conditioned things as such. Through these merits may sentient beings attain the rank of all-seeing, subdue the foe faults, and be delivered from samsara's ocean, perturbed by the waves of aging, sickness, and death. I prostrate to the Arya triple gem, thus did I hear at one time. The Bhagavan was dwelling on a mass of vulturous mountain in Rajagriha, together with a great community of monks and a great community of bodhisattvas. At that time the Bhagavan was absorbed in the concentration on the categories of phenomena called profound perception. Also at that time the Bodhisattva Mahasatha Arya Avalokiteshvara looked upon the very practice of the profound perfection of wisdom, and beheld those five aggregates also as empty of inherent nature. Then, through the power of the Buddha, the Venerable Shariputra said this to the Bodhisattva Mahasatha Arya Avalokiteshvara: how should any son of a lineage train who wishes to practice the activities of the profound perfection of wisdom? He said that, and the Bodhisattva Mahasatha Arya Avalokiteshvara said this to the Venerable Sharavatiputra: Shariputra, any son of a lineage or daughter of a lineage who wishes to practice the activities of the profound perfection of wisdom should look upon it like this, correctly and repeatedly, beholding those five aggregates also as empty of inherent nature. Form is empty, emptiness is form, emptiness is not other than form, form is also not other than emptiness. In the same way, feeling, discrimination, compositional factors, and consciousness are empty. Shariputra, likewise, all phenomena are emptiness, without characteristics, unproduced, unceased, stainless, not without stain, not deficient, not fulfilled. Shariputra, therefore, in emptiness, there is no form, no feeling, no discrimination, no compositional factors, no consciousness, no eye, no ear, no nose, no tongue, no body, no mind, no visual form, no sound, no odor, no taste, no object of touch, and no phenomena. There is no I element, and so on, up to and including no mind element, and no mental consciousness element. There is no ignorance, no extinction of ignorance, and so on, up to and including no aging and death, and no extinction of aging and death. Similarly, there is no suffering, origination, cessation, and path. There is no exalted wisdom, no attainment, and also no non-attainment. Shariputra, therefore, because there is no attainment, bodhisattvas rely on and dwell in the perfection of wisdom, the mind without obscuration and without fear. Having completely passed beyond error, they reach the end point of nirvana. All the Buddhas who dwell in the three times also manifestly completely awaken to unsurpassable, perfect, complete enlightenment in reliance on the perfection of wisdom. Therefore, the mantra, the perfection of wisdom, the mantra of great knowledge, the unsurpassed mantra, the mantra equal to the unequal, the mantra that thoroughly pacifies all suffering should be known as truth, since it is not false. The mantra, the perfection of wisdom, is declared: Taya ta gate gate para samgate bodhisoha. Shariputra, the Bodhisattva Mahasatha, should train in the profound perfection of wisdom like that. Then the Bhagavan arose from that concentration and commended the Bodhisattva Mahasatha Arya Avalokiteshvara, saying: well said, son of a lineage, it is like that, it is like that. One should practice the profound perfection of wisdom just as you have indicated, even the Tathagatas rejoice. The Bhagavan, having thus spoken, and the Venerable Sharavatiputra and the Bodhisattva Mahasatha Arya Avalokiteshvara and those surrounding in their entirety, along with the worlds of gods, humans, asuras, and Gadavas, were overjoyed and highly praised as spoken by the Bhagavan. Together with the Dakinis and the three chakras who abide in the holy yoga of using space, by powers of clairvoyance and magical emanations, look after a practitioner like a mother her child. Akasamana Tasara Samara Taita Gati Gati Parasamgati Bodhi Soha. By the teachings of the three supreme jewels possessing the power of truth, may inner and outer hindrances be transformed, may they be dispelled, may they be pacified. May all negative forces opposed to the Dhamma be completely pacified. May the host of 80,000 obstacles be pacified. May we be separated from problems and harmful conditions to the Dhamma. May all enjoyments be in accord with the Dhamma. And may there be auspiciousness and perfect happiness here, right now. The foundation of all good qualities is a kind and perfect pure Guru. Correct devotion to the Guru is the root of the path. By clearly seeing this and applying great effort, please bless me to rely upon the Guru with great respect. Please bless me to rely upon the Guru with great respect. Understanding that the precious freedom of this rebirth is found only once, is greatly meaningful and is difficult to find again. Please bless me to generate the mind that unceasingly, day and night, takes its essence. Please bless me to generate the mind that unceasingly, day and night, takes its essence. This life is impermanent as a water bubble. Remember how quickly it decays and death comes. After death, just like a shadow follows the body, the results of black and white karma follow. Finding firm and definite conviction in this, please bless me always to be careful, to abandon even the slightest negativities and accomplish all virtuous deeds. Please bless me always to be careful, to abandon even the slightest negativities and accomplish all virtuous deeds. Seeking samsaric pleasures is a door to all suffering. They are uncertain and cannot be relied upon. Recognizing these shortcomings, please bless me to generate the strong wish for the bliss of liberation. Please bless me to generate the strong wish for the bliss of liberation. Led by this pure thought, mindfulness, alertness, and great caution arise. The root of the teachings is keeping the pratimoksha vows. Please bless me to accomplish this essential practice. Please bless me to accomplish this essential practice. Just as I have fallen into the sea of samsara, so have all mother migratory beings. Please bless me to see this and train in supreme bodhicitta and bear the responsibility of freeing migratory beings. Please bless me to see this, train in supreme bodhicitta and bear the responsibility of freeing migratory beings. Even if I develop only bodhicitta, but I do not practice the three types of morality, I will not achieve enlightenment. With my clear recognition of this, please bless me to practice the Bodhisattva vows with great energy. Please bless me to practice the Bodhisattva vows with great energy. Once I have pacified distractions to wrong objects and correctly analyze the meaning of reality, please bless me to generate quickly within my mind stream the unified path of calm abiding and special insight. Please bless me to generate quickly within my mind stream the unified path of calm abiding and special insight. Having become a pure vessel by training in the general path, please bless me to enter the holy gateway of the fortunate ones, the supreme Vajra vehicle. Please bless me to enter the holy gateway of the fortunate ones, the supreme Vajra vehicle. At that time, the basis of accomplishing the two attainments is keeping pure vows and samaya. As I become firmly convinced of this, please bless me to protect these vows and pledges like my life. Please bless me to protect these vows and pledges like my life. Then, having realized the importance of the two stages and the essence of the Vajrayana, by practicing with great energy and never giving up the 4 sessions, please bless me to realize the teachings of the Holy Guru. Please bless me to realize the teachings of the Holy Guru. Like that, may the Gurus who show the noble path and the spiritual friends who practice it have long lives. Please bless me to pacify completely all outer and inner hindrances. Please bless me to pacify completely all outer and inner hindrances. In all my lives, may I never be separated from perfect Gurus. May I enjoy the magnificent Dhamma. By completing the qualities of the stages in the path, may I quickly attain the state of Vajradhara. May I quickly attain the state of Vajradhara. O Sajipuki Jojimeto Dramrira Lenji Nindegen Badi Sange Jindu Mite Uayi Drokunam Dajin La Chupasho Jesun Lama Damba Kena Kichu kala gen se chu zin tri jita sampe du je zimala Zabge chuki chapa Wabtu solidam guru rana mandala kamne ratayami
Sangye chedam soni tsonam na chanchu badu dani karsu chi dagi chushe gebe sonam di dola penshe sangye droba sho sangye chedam chagi chedam na chanchu badu dani karsu chi dagi chushe gebe sonam di dola penshe sangye droba sho sangye chedam chagi chedam na Chakshu Badu Dani Katsuji Dagi Chene Gibe Sonangi Dola Pinche Sangye Doba Sho Chutunto Kangitu Snizu Tao Tancho Pancho Tancho Rotanto Chanson. Yeah, so there's a very inspiring aspect of of the heroic aspect of the bodhisattvas coming up, and related to that there's a nice quote of the Lama Chöpa. The Lama Chöpa as a dedication prayer. Yeah. So in there, with the verse of effort, there it says, "Even if I must remain for an ocean of eons in the fierce hells of Avicii, for the sake of just one sentient being, I seek your blessings to complete the perfection of joyous effort, that out of compassion entirely strives for supreme enlightenment." Yeah, so that bodhisattvas, they engage in these kind of I would say unconceivable activities, in for the benefit of beings. So it's good sometimes to see that bigger picture. If you see that bigger picture, then little problems in life becomes like peanuts. Yeah, so that if you think that for the benefit of one being to generate virtue in the mind of one sentient being, you engage in countless forms of difficulties, right? Yeah, so go to the hell realms even just to generate a virtue in the mind of one person. That's quite something. So then if you engage some difficulties in life, then then that's nothing, right, compared to these kind of activities. So that one aspect, it helps us to see what real effort is. Another aspect, it helps us to to put things in perspective. That's in perspective from the point of view that the things we engage in and practice and study and meditation, and some maybe do retreats, then sometimes it's difficult, or it's kind of you hear the things again and again, or it's you don't progress, or your mind degenerates because of afflictions taking over again. So that happens, right? But that's just a sign of that it's going to take time, and that is going to take quite a few lifetimes. But if you just do it for a few lifetimes, then things become stable, and then there's progress. So just keep going. That's basically the advice from these kind of texts, right? We have to have this vast vision of what His Holiness always says. Even if it takes 3 countless eons, you have to have this courageous attitude, whatever it takes. And of course, in Vajrayana goes quicker, but you have to have this courageous attitude, whatever it takes. And keep going and never give up. That's kind of so there's various quotes if you're interested in. If you read the Thammasukappa's great exposition of the stages of the path to enlightenment, then there you will find on the perfection of effort very, very inspiring quotes of Ratnavali, Nagarjuna's Ratnavali, which is based on some quotes from the sutras of the never decreasing intelligence. One particular bodhisattva, Lodemisepa Do, sutra, and there also it's very inspiring to read, because the intention is vast, the practice is vast, and the result is vast. Yeah, if you really think about all beings without exception, and for that purpose you engage countless lifetimes, not just little difficulties, but giving up parts of the body. Then you imagine and giving up various aspects of possessions and things like that. Then you read the stories, or you just read the stories of that the Buddha in Nama Buddha, you know, gave away his own body to the tigress, right? So that those kind of things, then it puts things in a different perspective. Yeah. Then one life is not that much of an issue, you know. That's if you can do that, then you don't have to worry, because then every time you engage in various activities in that life, and then you just keep going. Okay, one life maybe you go a bit less, or you go in other states of existence, but the general line is straight through. Yeah? So that's kind of important to go back to that, as we always say, that advice of Gompa Kaza, Gompa Rinchen, one of the direct disciples of Atisha, yeah, who always said the threefold advice of the Kadam tradition. Yeah, vast vision, enlightenment. Yeah, and then that will take quite some lifetimes, and then you make plans from here to there. And then because you have this vast vision and you have made plans, you don't have to worry or squeeze yourself or become tied up with things. Yeah, so because you have vast vision and you make plans and you just keep going. Yeah, so that's also in the last few verses we go over Nagarjuna's text, and those things come up. Yeah. Yeah, these vast visions of Bodhicitta. So we left at verse number 89, right? Is it? Yeah? Yeah. Those, it says, those who wish to save sentient beings, even if they are reborn in the maze of existence, they are not sort of by the stains of its events, just like the petals of a lotus born in a lake. Yeah, so we know that the lotus-born aspect of the lake and the petals coming above the lake, and the roots of the petals are in the mud, right? So that represents kind of the aspect of renunciation. Yes, we normally see the Buddha seated on a lotus with sun and moon disk, right? So then the lotus represents renunciation, the sun represents bodhicitta, and the moon disk represents emptiness. Yeah, so you could have the three principal aspects of the path. Yeah. So similarly, the bodhisattvas, they are like that, meaning they, and then here it's mainly referring, the last few verses are mainly referring to Arya bodhisattvas. Yeah, that Arya bodhisattvas who have a direct perception of emptiness, they dive into samsara for the purpose of benefiting beings. And we know Arya bodhisattvas, they're not born by the power of karma and afflictions, they're born by the power of prayer. But they're born by depending on karma and afflictions. Yeah, because you need a cause for rebirth. Yeah, so you need to depend on karma and afflictions to activate that. And that's all what they say. The Arya bodhisattvas, they learn kaza nyumo kaza wantoba. Wantoba means, how to translate, they have control, right? Have control over the afflictions. That means they use afflictions. For example, if you are to be born in a particular place to benefit beings, you need conditions to be born there. Yeah, so what you do, you just activate karma from previous lifetimes with the power of prayer to be born at a particular place. Yeah, so that's a little bit different from what we do. We just die and we just, our karma just propels us wherever karma propels us. There's no control, right? But these Arya Bodhisattvas, they control that process. Yeah? So it says they take births without the faults of samsara. Yeah, so without gyoba, it says in Tibetan, without being influenced by the faults of samsara, or being influenced by these afflictions. Yeah? And that's why they kind of, what we say on this lotus born, because we know Arya Bodhisattva doesn't create new links, the 12 links anymore. Yeah, the 12 links of dependent origination, which we went over a few weeks ago, that propels us into cyclic existence, right? So Arya Bodhisattvas, they don't create newly the 12 links anymore. They still have karma of the past, which they use to be reborn, by the power of prayer. They activate it, but they don't create the 12 links newly anymore. Yeah? So that's quite interesting. And we know with the 12 links, you need to have all the 4 factors of karma complete, right? So, and why is that not possible anymore for an Arya Bodhisattva? Because the link of ignorance is not there anymore. Yeah, an Arya Bodhisattva has direct perception of emptiness, so there's no apprehension of inherent existence anymore. Yeah, so if there's, because ignorance in the first link needs an apprehension of inherent existence, or needs an apprehension of self-sufficient substantial existing self. It needs an apprehension of these points of ignorance. Meaning you have to see things as inherent, according to Prasangika school. You have to hold on as inherent. Whatever positive thing or negative thing you do, as we do engage in positive deed of generosity or practicing morality, then you see that we always have a concept of I being inherent. So we apprehend it in that way. It might not be a very strong grasping, but the apprehension is there. So Arya Bodhisattva, that's not possible anymore. There's only the appearance of inherent existence that appears, but there's no adherence to inherent existence, because of their direct perception of emptiness. So that's the reason why they don't create the 12 links of samsara anymore, right? Then the bodhisattvas, such as Samattabhadra. Samattabhadra was this bodhisattva who was so skillful in in various forms of vast offerings, as we know, right? So that we try to act in that way. You need vast minds. You need sorry, Mr. COVID came back today. He was gone for a few days. I mean, almost gone, but he decided to come back. Okay, so Samattabhadra was this person who has this incredible quality to make these vast visualizations. If you engage in preliminary practices such as mandala offerings or prostrations, then you visualize yourself in countless bodies making prostrations, and each of those bodies, atoms, is also in the form of yourself making prostrations. Or if you make mandalas, there's countless of all your lifetimes, countless bodies making mandala offerings, and each atom of that mandala also is a mandala, right? So it's kind of and the whole sky is filled. So if you practice in that way, you create much more merit than just visualizing one mandala, for example, or visualizing yourself doing one prostration. So that's kind of unique aspects of Samattabhadra. Have burnt the wood of afflictions. So the wisdom fire of emptiness, but still remain moistened with compassion. We know that an Arya Bodhisattva's direct perception of emptiness is eliminating afflictions, right? It burns away the afflictions, because we know the direct perception of emptiness is the only antidote to its afflictions, and that's why it's a true refuge. Direct perception of emptiness is a true refuge. If we take refuge in the Buddha, the Dharma, and the Sangha, then the actual refuge is the Dharma, right? So then the true paths is an actual refuge that gives us the freedom of afflictions, that eliminates the afflictions. So that's here the wisdom fire of emptiness, yeah, and then remains moistened by compassion, because compassion is, it says compassion, it doesn't say bodhicitta, right? But compassion, we know, is a substantial cause of bodhicitta, and it's one of the aspirations of wanting to liberate sentient beings from their suffering, right? So that's one of the main substantial motivations for the bodhisattvas, to meditate on emptiness and to get out of that meditation and work for the benefit of beings. Yeah, that's the two aspects. So yeah, the Arya Bodhisattvas, they are born by the power of prayer and not by the power of karma and afflictions, but they use karma and afflictions to be born. Yeah, that's a different terminology here. So ordinary Bodhisattvas, as well as those on the Sravaka and Pracheka paths, yeah, on the paths of learning of Sravaka and Pracheka, they all born by the power of karma and afflictions. Yeah, they don't have control over their rebirths like an Arya Bodhisattva has. Yeah, that's just difference. Then verse 91, it says, those under the power of compassion display acts of departing births, announcing kingdom, engaging in ascetic wellness and great awakening, and defeating the maras. Yeah, we have the different types of maras. Yeah, we have the maras. What do we have? We have normally 4 maras, right? The mara of the contaminated aggregates, so to say. Yeah, so yeah, and you can see if you have contaminated aggregates, you get sick. Yeah, or you have mental issues or physical issues. Yeah, and that's because of contamination. So contaminated aggregates is one mara. Yeah. And then you needs attention. It's okay. Something pop up. Yeah. The other day the Siri, I always forget the name. Siri was popping up last weekend. He was just listening.
Oh.
But he didn't say anything. Sometimes it says something. Yeah. So once I was talking about emptiness, and then it said, it was here in Jamyang, I think. Then it said all of a sudden, I'm not sure about it. I was one day I was in I don't know where, in Spain or something, and also talking about emptiness, and then it said, it was also, sometimes it pops up when the internet is on, I think, and then it said, I didn't get it. Can you repeat that again? So even Siri can get emptiness, right? So yeah. Yeah, so the maras, yeah. So we have the mara of the contaminated aggregates. That's one. Then we have the mara of the afflictions, yeah, which is the main mara to have, right? And yeah, the afflictions are the real enemy, so to say. It's not externally, but it's actually the affliction that's the real enemy, right? And then we have the mara of death, or the Lord of Death, yeah, that causes us to have contaminated death, and that implies contaminated rebirth, yeah. And then we have the fourth one is sometimes indicated as a mara of obsessive desire, and sometimes is indicated as external one, yeah, like spirits or asuras who can cause harm, yeah. But yeah, whatever the case is, the main mara are the afflictions, right? Yeah, the main mara to abandon the afflictions. But yeah, if you engage in these kind of practices and paths, you eliminate all those 4 maras, right? Yeah. And there you can see in the temple, the plague with when the Buddha is on the Bodhi tree, and then all the maras, they shoot the arrows of the afflictions, and then it all turns into flowers. Or you can look at, there was a movie once, I can't remember called, the Buddha, something with the American. Yeah, what was it called again? Life with the Buddha or something. Anyway, there was also something like that. I remember it shooting and then flowers. Yeah, anyway. Then, verse 92, it says, turning the wheel of Dharma, entering the realm of all gods. Yeah, so also the Buddhas, they also enter the realm of the god realms to benefit them, right? Yeah. Not all gods are interested, but certain god realms, they pay attention. Entering the realm of the gods, yeah. and likewise display the act of going beyond the bounds of sorrow, because even the gods, they have temporary happiness, but that transforms into suffering when it comes to an end. Yeah. It's very sad, because then they, certain god realms, they think they achieve liberation because there's no suffering, and then a few days before they die, they see all the suffering coming in the next life, and then they think, oh, liberation is not possible, I'm still stuck in samsara. Yeah, so then that's very frightening, and that then they generate a lot of wrong views, saying that, oh, liberation is not possible, and then they fall back to the lower realms. Yeah, so being born as a god is temporarily, has some benefits, but yeah, better have a presumed rebirth and strive for developing the mind in the Lamrim, right? Yeah. So yeah, that like Brahma, Indra, Vishnu, yeah, and Rudra. So also those powerful gods, they actually requested the Buddha to teach, right? Yeah. So yeah, that's one way very interesting. They perform the compassionate dance with acts of bringing peace to beings, yeah, because they are very powerful, but they cannot really, like the Buddha, liberate sentient beings by teaching the Buddha Dharma, right? So that's a kind of, yeah, why we say that, yeah, very fortunate to have found the Buddha's teaching explaining Bodhicitta and emptiness. Then the next verse, so these verses 89, 90, 91, 92, 93, they referring to how to free oneself from samsara. Yeah. Then the next section of verses, 94 until including 99, talks about how to free oneself from abiding nirvana. Yeah, so you know, once you liberated from samsara, you have an abiding nirvana, right? So you want to, go to non-abiding nirvana. Yeah? But it says in the sutras that those who really, you can generate a kind of renunciation, and then think that all beings, working for the benefit of all beings is too difficult, and you just want to get out of samsara as soon as possible. Then the Buddha said that we give them an island, so then there's a big ocean, and there's an island they can go to, and then after the island they can rest, and then they go to enlightenment after that. That's kind of the idea that just give it temporarily a release from suffering, but then the Buddha will knock on their door and then try to shake them up out of their concentration, yeah, and lead them to enlightenment eventually. Yeah, so we know in the Buddhist tenets, there are certain tenet systems that does not believe that everybody can become a Buddha. Yeah, so certain tenet systems, and even in cultures like Sri Lanka, you see that, for example, that just the common person in Sri Lanka, just they have that similar view, right? That they can achieve the state of Arhat, but Buddhahood is only for very few. Yeah, but in other schools of Buddhist philosophy, we say Buddhahood is for everybody. Yeah, so then we call it what we call one ultimate vehicle. Yeah, that means that all beings will eventually enter the Bodhisattva Yana, will eventually enter the state of Buddhahood. Yeah, in other schools of Buddhist philosophy, they have three ultimate vehicles for the Sravaka, Pratyeka, and Bodhisattva. Yeah. Once you enter one of those three, then you will accomplish your goal, and that's it. You won't shift to other kind of vehicles, yeah, because it's kind of an aspect of imprints, inclinations, and merit and connections that make the distinction. Yeah, but in other schools of Buddhist philosophy, including the middle way schools, then eventually everybody will achieve enlightenment. Yeah, so these verses talk about that aspect. For those disheartened on existence road, the suffering of samsara, for their respite to wisdom that leads to the great vehicle has been taught, and they, however, they are, however, not ultimate. Yeah, so it means that they're just a temporary. Yeah, not the ultimate vehicle. Yeah, they have to realize emptiness in order to achieve liberation. Yeah, but that achievement of liberation is just a temporary thing. It's just an abiding nirvana, right? And then they have to get out of that and then go to the. But yeah, that takes much longer. So, although liberation can be achieved in 3 lifetimes if you have renunciation, yeah. So, if you have uncontrived renunciation, you can achieve liberation in 3 lifetimes. Then don't think, oh, Namdak, that's what I'm going to do. Yeah, because it is possible, but if you achieve liberation, then to go to Buddhahood will take a very long time. So it's better to start with Bodhicitta and go to the hell realms next life if needed, but you will still go to enlightenment quicker. Yeah, so because once liberated, then it's very difficult to generate bodhicitta, right? It was very difficult to generate an uncontrived form of great compassion. Yeah, Aryas of the Shravaka, they have compassion, right? They have a compassion as well, but not a compassion that takes responsibility for all sentient beings without exception. Yeah, like what we call the great compassion of the bodhisattva ideal. Yeah, so that have to generate it, and that's very difficult if you're already free from samsara, right? So long not exhorted by the Buddhas, so long the disciples will remain in a bodily state of wisdom, soon and intoxicated by absorption. Yeah, so meaning those will abide in the absorption. If you have liberation, have achieved liberation, you just abide in the absorption on emptiness for a long time. Yeah. When exhorted then in the diverse forms, they will become attached to others' welfare eventually. Yeah, so the Buddha will shake them up. So the Buddha initially has to teach them mentally, yeah, because they have this very subtle bodies and they're in deep absorption. So the Buddha has to shake them out of their concentration and then teach them to the Bodhisattva jnana, right, the vehicle that leads to enlightenment. And then they have to gather merit. Yeah, says he, merit and wisdom. But if you debate that point, they will attain Buddha for the way. Yeah, so wisdom, yeah, you could debate the point. You want to debate that point or not? So it says merit and wisdom, but they already have a realization of emptiness. Yeah, direct perception of emptiness. Yeah. So when they enter the Bodhisattva jnana, because quite a few of you studied grounds and paths, so they know these topics inside out. People online, you listening or not? Yeah. So yeah. So that means that, because I look now here, but actually I should look like that. Yeah. No, not there, but the camera. Yeah. It's okay now or not? I look a bit like down, no? Yeah. Because I see the people on the computer and now different. No, it's okay. No. Just joking. Yeah. So what I said, yeah. There's 2 aspects, right? Method and wisdom, or here in this case, merit and wisdom. So, if you're an Arya, an Arat, and you have to enter the Bodhisattva jnana, you already have realized emptiness, yeah, according to the Prasangika school. So then the main accumulation is the merit, isn't it? So why does he say merit and wisdom?
Because it doesn't have the wisdom of what we realize.
It has the wisdom. It realizes them. They have direct perception of emptiness.
But the realization of helping all people is different.
That's true, but my question is wisdom.
But isn't it about the union? They don't have the union yet. They don't have enough merit.
Union of?
Wisdom and...
Almost. Yeah, getting close.
Yeah, it's... I can quote from the prayer. I don't know.
Yeah. Getting close, because it's true, they don't have the Ripa Namta Taibeko in Tony Tosso, how we say. Yeah, so then you know exactly what I mean, right? That means that realizing emptiness from a vast amount of reasoning. Yeah, we say realizing emptiness from a vast amount of reasoning. Vast amount, actually, I should say limitless. So limitless reasons. So there's different interpretations. There's limitless reasons in the scriptures. Yeah, that in the Perfection of Wisdom Sutras we talk about, the various lists we have, like no I, no this, no I, no form, no. There's a huge list in the Perfection of Wisdom Sutras. There's not really much present in the sutras for the Shravakas and Prachekas, right? The sutras for the hearers and the Prachekas. So that's one aspect. But here it talks about the mind realizing emptiness from these vast aspects of limitless reasoning. So the main interpretation of that aspect is because it's motivated with great compassion, right? So that makes it vast, because we know compassion thinks about all beings without exception, and that kind of is a very vast aspect, and based on that motivation, realizing emptiness, then it is described as from a vast amount of reasoning. So that's kind of an aspect that could be a debate if you read this verse. So I thought, why not? And then eventually, because mainly they have to accumulate merit, because they have the direct perception of emptiness, so they don't have to realize, they don't have to walk to get the direct perception of emptiness. They already have that. But they enter the Bodhisattva yana, they enter the path of accumulation, and then go to the path of preparation, in order to accumulate merit, not for the purpose of a direct perception of emptiness, but to accumulate merit, because they already have a direct perception of emptiness. If you, as a bodhisattva, start with a part of accumulation and a part of preparation, then we say you prepare your mind for a direct perception of emptiness. So a person who is liberated enters that part, doesn't have to prepare their mind for direct perception of emptiness, because it's already there. But they have to accumulate merit for that mind of emptiness later on to be able to eliminate obscurations to omniscience, because that's still not been abandoned, right? They have abandoned obscurations to liberation, but not obscurations to omniscience. Does it make sense or not? For those who have studied that material. Because 97, the properties for the two obscurations, we know the two obscurations, the obscurations for liberation and the obscurations for omniscience, right? Or we call them afflictive obscurations and cognitive obscurations. Those who are causing you not to achieve liberation, we call that obscurations to liberation, or afflictive obscurations, because in order to achieve liberation you need to eliminate afflictions. That's why we call them afflictive obscurations, right? And then in order to achieve the omniscient mind of the Buddha, you have to eliminate the obstacles that prevent you from achieving that mind, which are the cognitive obscurations. So the afflictive obscurations are the afflictions and their seeds, as we know. Afflictive obscurations are the afflictions and their seeds, and the cognitive obscurations are the imprints. And we know that seeds produces an adherence to inherent existence, or grasping often is being translated to inherent existence, while the imprints only produce the mere appearance. So when an arat is in direct absorption of emptiness, then only emptiness appears. But when that arat comes out of that absorption, inherent existence still appear. So that prevents that arat from knowing everything, because if you have inherent things appearing to your mind, you cannot see the ultimate truth at that time. So for a sentient being, you cannot see conventional ultimate truth simultaneously with one mind directly. You can only, when you see emptiness directly, only emptiness appears. When you get out of that absorption and conventional reality appears, then everything appears inherent. So you cannot see the ultimate reality, right? So that's why you need to become Buddha. Not for only for that purpose, but that's the distinction between the minds of sentient beings and the mind of the Buddha, right? So the true obscurations. Yeah. These propensities are referred as the seeds of existence from the meeting of the seeds with conditions. Yeah, they shoot of cyclic existence and is produced. Yeah, so the seeds of the afflictions, they cause adherence, to inherent existence, and it causes afflictions to arise and cause you to create karma, right? Yeah. Then 98 it says, the paths revealed by the salvation of the saviors of the world, which follow the patterns of beings' mentalities, differ variously among the diverse people, due to the diverse methods employed by the Buddha. Yeah, because we have various. The Buddha's taught also, as we know, the three turnings of the wheel, of the Dharma. In the first turning of the wheel in Sarnath, close to in Sarnath you have the big stupa, and then you have to walk a bit out, and then there's a little place where the Buddha taught the Four Noble Truths for the first time. Yeah, and the main audience at that time were those who strive for liberation. Yeah, mainly the Sravaka and Prajeka disciples, but also bodhisattvas were there. And then the main teaching was around, according to most interpretations, around the Vaibhasika and the Sutra school, or the Great Exposition and the Sutra school, Vaibhasika and Sautrantrika. And then the Buddha taught in Rajgir. If you ever been to Rajgir, it's a very inspiring place. I think one of the previous Dalai Lamas was there in a visit. I forgot which one. But the Dalai Lama didn't go up. There's a little hill. It's very small actually, because if you read the sutras, you read that there are thousands of arhats and Buddhas and bodhisattvas present, but actually it's very small. It's probably like this room, actually. Yeah, it's very similar. The top part, right, in Rajgir, if you go on the top. So it's a very small place. Yeah. So there the Buddha taught the perfection of wisdom sutras, right, which is according to the middle way interpretation. And then who couldn't grasp the middle way interpretation, then the Buddha in Vaisali, the Buddha taught the third turning of the wheel, and that was more in accordance with the Mind school of Buddhist philosophy, right? Yeah. So then, among those three turnings of the wheel, the first one and the last one, according to Prasangika, they're provisional in their meaning. They need interpretation. They're not being considered as having a direct meaning that could be directly understood or taken literally. That needs interpretation. And only the second turning, or the middle turning of the wheel, that, according to the Prasangika, has definite meaning. Yeah, that doesn't need interpretation. Yeah, so that's just the different schools of Buddhist philosophy. The Buddha already at that time taught according to beings' kind of inclinations, or beings' interests, or beings' intelligence, and then the Buddha taught according to that. Right, very skillful. Then the instructions, 99. Differ as profound and as the vast. Yeah, we have two aspects of the perfection of wisdom sutras during the second turning. Then the Buddha taught the perfection of wisdom sutras, right? Prajnaparamita. There you have two aspects. One aspect it says here, the profound and the vast aspect. So profound is referring to emptiness, and the vast aspect is referring to the hidden meaning of the stages. Yeah? So the hidden meaning of the grounds and paths. Yeah, how to get liberated, how to become a Buddha, how you progress on the 5 paths, as we often recite in the Heart Sutra, Tayata, Gata, Gata, Paragata, Parasamgata, Bodhisoha. Tayata means it is as follows. Gate refers to the first part, the part of accumulation. The second gate, Gate, refers to the part of preparation. Paragate refers to the part of see. So Paragata refers to the direct perception of emptiness, and Parasamgata refers to the part of meditation. No, just take it easy. Yeah. And then Bodhisoha refers to the part of no more learning, Yeah, so that yeah. So those 5 paths here referring to the vast aspect when it says the instructions differ as the profound and the vast. Yeah, so the profound referring to emptiness, vast refers to these paths. On some occasions, an instruction is categorized by both. Yeah, some things have both, like the Heart Sutra, for example, right? Though such diverse approaches are taught, they are all equal in being empty of non-dual or non-duality. Yeah, so the non-duality in the Prasangika view, meaning that everything is empty of inherent existence, right? So there's no duality between the selflessness of a person and selflessness of phenomena. Yeah, we know in the Prasangika view those 2 aspects refer to the same object of refutation, right? That everything is empty of inherent existence. Yeah. All right. So then the next section, 100 until including 103, those few verses, they talk about how to go from non-abiding nirvana, and then in particular the non-abiding nirvana of ground 8, 9, and 10. Yeah, so the bodhisattvas will have achieved the bhumis, the pure bhumis as we call them. Yeah, bhumi 8, 9, and 10. They, they liberated from samsara, but they're not in abiding nirvana. Yeah, they strive for. They're actually already non-abiding nirvana, but not complete non-abiding nirvana. Yeah, because the complete non-abiding nirvana is only at the level of Buddhahood. Yeah, and an 8 ground bodhisattva and a 9th and a 10th ground bodhisattva, they are in the nature of nirvana, but they're not abiding into it. They work for the benefit of beings, right? Yeah, so that's why they call non-abiding, but they haven't completed the non-abiding nirvana, because the completion of non-abiding nirvana is a level of Buddhahood, so they have to strive from the 8th ground until enlightenment is achieved, right? Or full nirvana, or complete enlightenment as we call it. Yeah. So they work hard to have the 2 accumulations, yeah, because they have already eliminated the afflictive obscurations as we just talked about, right? The afflictions and their seeds, yeah, has been eliminated, but they have not eliminated the cognitive obscurations. Yeah, so they have to eliminate the cognitive ones. Yeah, and that happens on those 3 pure grounds. Yeah. Then it says the retention powers and the bodhisattva levels, as well as the perfections of the Buddhas. Yeah, so the 6 perfections, or in the 10 bhumis we have 10 perfections, as we know. Yeah, they are perfections in the sense that they not perfect yet. Yeah, that they still practice. Yeah, the real perfection is at the level of Buddhahood. Yeah, so to come there to that level, you have to practice the 6 perfections, or in this case of the grounds and paths, the 10 perfections, right? Yeah, so perfections of the Buddhas and the omniscient ones taught these to be aspects of the awakening mind. Yeah, so that's true. We know with bodhicitta, we have 2 types of bodhicitta, right? We have the engaging bodhicitta and the aspiring bodhicitta. Yeah, so the aspiring bodhicitta is the wish to go to enlightenment, and engaging bodhicitta is taking action and take commitment. Yeah, like taking the bodhisattva vows and promise to engage in the 6 perfections for the purpose of enlightenment. Yeah, so aspiring bodhicitta is like, in India we say, wanted to go to Goa, and actually going to Goa is the engaging bodhicitta. But, I don't know if people here know about Goa. You know Goa in India? It's kind of a beach kind of place, South India, yeah. It's very popular. People to go to rave parties and hippies. And, yeah. But yeah, you could think in other beaches or nice places, yeah. If you consider a beach as nice, yeah, to want to go and to actually go, right? So wanting to go is this aspirational aspect, yeah. Wanting to go to Buddhahood is the aspiration aspect, and engaging is making the plans, and in this case going to a place, booking tickets. But in this case, of the Bodhisattva ideal, we don't book tickets, but we promise to take the Bodhisattva vows, engaging Bodhisattva vows, and promise to engage in the 3 types of morality, right? The morality of abandoning non-virtue, practicing virtue, and working for the benefit of beings, right? So all the 18 root vows and the 46 secondary vows, or the Bodhisattva vows, you can summarize into those three aspects of morality, right? Yeah. Yeah, the aspects of the awakening mind. Those who fulfill others' welfare in this way, constantly through their body, speech, and mind, who advocate the dialectics of emptiness, yeah, there is no dispute at all of being nihilistic. Yeah, we know if you realize emptiness, then correctly, then you don't fall into the extreme of nihilism. Yeah, we talked about the aspect of dependent origination. Yeah, if you use the reason of dependent origination, you will never fall into two extremes of absolutism, neither into nihilism. Yeah, because dependent helps us to see that things are dependent, means things cannot exist in and by themselves. And arising helps us to understand that things conventionally have an existence. Yeah, so that implies that with the first one, dependence, you don't fall into the extreme of absolutism, thinking that things exist in and by itself. And with the term arising, or the meaning of arising, independent arising, helps us not to fall in the extreme of nihilism, yeah? That you see things are conventionally existing. Yeah? And that's a unique presentation of Arya Nagarjuna, as well as Chandakirti, and more detailed explained also by Lama Tsongkhapa, right? Yeah, in this, for example, his praise of dependent origination. Yeah, which is very similar. It's very interesting if you read a praise by Lama Tsongkhapa, but he praises the Buddha for his teachings on dependent origination. It's very similar to Nagarjuna's praise of the world transcendent. Yeah, that's also kind of a praise by Arya Nagarjuna about the Buddha's teachings on dependent origination. Yeah. Neither in cyclic existence nor nirvana. Yeah, so they don't fall into the two extremes of cyclic existence, nor in the extreme of abiding nirvana. Right. The great beings reside, therefore, the Buddha's thoughts here, the non-abiding nirvana. Right. So that's what we just talked about. The single taste on compassion is merit. The taste of emptiness is most excellent, yeah, because with emptiness you eliminate obscurations, and motivated by compassion, particularly bodhicitta, then it has the potential to eliminate both obscurations, right? Obscurations to liberation, and obscurations to omniscience, right? Yeah. Those who drink in the exhaler of emptiness to realize self and others' welfare are conqueror's children. Yeah, if you have bodhicitta, you become a conqueror's children, or you become a child of the victorious ones. Yeah, the victorious ones meaning those who have the victory over the afflictions. Yeah, the Buddhas. Yeah, and in this case, not just afflictions, but you could say the victorious ones are referring to those who have victory over the two obscurations, right? The afflictive obscurations and the cognitive obscurations. Yeah, so that's kind of two aspects there. Yeah. Yeah. So then you become the child of the victorious ones. Isn't that amazing? Then maybe that's a good way to stop today. You know, at Lama Duchin. Yeah. That we become the children of the Buddhas, right? Yeah. So yeah, if there's questions, then we can do a few. Is my walking? Yeah. Oh, sorry, a little bit unprofessional. Maybe this, but yeah.
I've only got one microphone. Does anyone here have a question?
Yeah.
Wait.
Okay, we have to do a bit loud.
I find it very difficult to understand what it means to be in emptiness, separate from compassion.
Mm. Yeah. Yeah, I mean, you have to make a distinction between. Oh yeah, sorry. People online, you don't see that. We're very professional today. You have a mic on a Drone.
Tripod, later tripod.
Drone flying in the
Oh.
without sound. Sound is one. Yeah, you have to make a distinction between compassion, right? There's different types of compassion. Yeah, I mean, if you realize emptiness, either motivated with renunciation or with bodhicitta, it will increase compassion, right? But the realization of emptiness is not compassion. So that's important to make a distinction, that the realization of emptiness is different from the mind of compassion. But the mind of compassion can motivate the realization of emptiness, right? And then you can have different types of compassion. You can have the compassion of how wonderful if all sentient beings are free of suffering, which is general. May they be free of suffering. Yeah? So that kind of compassion exists in Shravakas and Prachekas as well. Yeah? But then if you think about what we call great compassion, or compassion that wishes to be of a refuge for others, yeah, without exception, and for that purpose takes responsibility, that kind of compassion that motivates emptiness is cone to its bodhicitta, motivating emptiness, and then you can eliminate the obscurations to omniscience, right? When the first two compassions are there, then it doesn't have the power to eliminate obscurations to omniscience, because you don't have the wish to go to enlightenment. Yeah, so without that wish, then the realization of emptiness doesn't have the power to eliminate obscurations to omniscience. Does that make sense or not? A little bit, yeah. So, because if you have renunciation, you want to get liberated from samsara, and for that purpose you realize emptiness, then that realization of emptiness becomes a cause for liberation, right? And that realization of emptiness becomes a cause to eliminate afflictions and their seeds. Yeah. But if you motivate the realization of emptiness with bodhicitta, then that realization of emptiness becomes a cause for eliminating obscuration to omniscience, because that's your wish to achieve enlightenment. Yeah? Yeah. Okay.
Okay, Zola?
So I just want to get really clear about this, the specific part about Arya Bodhisattvas being born by the power of prayer. And so, for example, they could be reborn in the hell realms. So you're saying, but they have control over the affliction, so it's like they take the rebirth, but then they're not, because it's, it's like suffering is...
the fault of samsara.
Yeah. So it's because it's like, suffering is within the mind, but then there's still something that the bodhisattvas are struggling with before Buddhahood, right? Like there's still...
They're just with the duality they're struggling, in the sense that they cannot perceive all compassion and ultimate truth simultaneously. Yeah. And their capacity to benefit beings is, compared to the Buddha, is limitless. Oh, sorry, compared to the Buddha is, how to say, uncomparable, right? The Buddha has much more capacity. Although they have already on the grounds, we know, from 100 to 1,000 to 10,000 multiplies, right? The capacities of the 12 qualities. But it's not comparable with the Buddha. The Buddha can still do so much more. So they have to, for that purpose...
Oh, sorry, guess ready, come
Oh, yeah. Sorry, people online. we just completely forgot all of you. No, we're sitting in a smaller compound now, and so we don't have all the text set up. So the mic went there, but the mic didn't come back when I was talking. So you missed everything. Yeah. Okay. So I repeat for you. Okay. So what did I say?
You're talking they don't have the same capacity as the Buddha.
Yeah. So the Arya Bodhisattvas, they don't have the same capacity as the Buddhas. Yeah, sorry, I'm joking. Yeah, to help sentient beings, right? In the sense that they have, on the first bhumi you have 100, second bhumi 1,000, and 10,000 multiplies, right? The 12 qualities, so to say, they multiply over the bhumis. But compared to the Buddha, there's no comparison, because the Buddha can still do so much more. Okay? So for that purpose, they need they understand that, and they see it as more capacity when you achieve enlightenment. So for that purpose, especially also on the three pure grounds, they have to work hard to get there. Yeah, that's why they accumulate merit and wisdom for that purpose. Yeah, because they still have to eliminate obscurations to omniscience in order to have an omniscient mind. That's much more beneficial for the work for welfare of sentient beings. And then you need the form bodies, right, to benefit beings, and for that purpose you have to accumulate merit. No? Yeah. Oh, yeah. This thing is a bit.
I'm going to get a new microphone. Decided. We'll get some budget. It's meant to be for, yeah.
It's just for your.
Yeah. So I'm going to try and group together two questions. Maybe could you please repeat from verse 94, what are the two wisdoms, emptiness and bodhicitta? And
94.
in verse 94, the two wisdoms, and also maybe explain the difference between relative and ultimate bodhicitta.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, so I think so in verse Kazan 94, yeah. For those that are on existence road, the two wisdoms that lead to the great vehicle had been taught. Yeah, so they are however not ultimate. The two wisdoms that lead to the great vehicle. What did I say? Did I say something there? No. Did I explain something there or no?
The question was asking you.
Okay. Okay. Yeah. So the two wisdoms that lead to the great vehicle had been taught, right? So most likely, I don't remember having seen that explained in the commentary, but most likely it refers to the two bodhicittas, I suppose, the wisdom. When we talk about the conventional bodhicitta, we say in the conventional bodhicitta, yeah, we have two aspirations, right? In conventional bodhicitta, we have the causal aspiration and reasoned aspiration. So it's often been said that Ningje, yeah, compassion, focuses upon sentient beings, sentient lamik. Sherab, janjub lamik, meaning wisdom is focusing to enlightenment. Yeah, so there you have in conventional bodhicitta, you have a compassion aspect and a wisdom aspect related with the two aspirations. Yeah, you have the causal aspiration and the resident aspiration. So the causal aspiration of great compassion is focused upon the suffering of sentient beings, and the wisdom is focused upon enlightenment. Yeah, so in that context, you could join conventional bodhicitta with a wisdom, right, if you like. Yeah, and then of course the ultimate bodhicitta, that's already a wisdom directly realizing emptiness. It could refer to that, but I'm not 100% sure. Yeah, because it says for there, despite the two wisdoms that lead to the great vehicle had been taught. Yeah, so that makes sense, but I don't know if that's the meaning of Nagarjuna. Yeah, that I don't know. I don't remember I saw this. Because the commentary also, there's not many commentaries available. I haven't looked at all the Indian sources, but the one I used was mostly used by Dakpo Ngawantakpa. There he just summarizes explanation of verses, not word by word. I haven't looked at the various. There's a few. There's one by Kamala Shila. There's one or two other commentaries by other Indian masters. I haven't really studied that yet. Yeah. But yeah, that's just my own kind of stupid mind that thinks maybe that could be an interpretation, but I'm not sure. Yeah.
Relative and ultimate bodhicitta, the difference. Relative and ultimate bodhicitta,
the difference. So relative bodhicitta is relative, ultimate bodhicitta. No, joking. Relative bodhicitta is relative. Yeah, referring to the conventional bodhicitta, right? Conventional bodhicitta is the bodhicitta that has those two aspirations we just talked about, right? The wanting to the causal aspiration, want to liberate sentient beings from their suffering, and ultimate kasa. the resultant aspirations want to achieve enlightenment for that purpose. Yeah, so we said you have compassion that focuses on the suffering of sentient beings, and you have the wisdom in that particular aspect that focus on enlightenment, right? Yeah, so that creates the two aspirations. That's kind of conventional. And why is it called conventional? Because it belongs to the conventional truth. Yeah. Why is it conventional truth? Because it exists and it's not an ultimate truth. That's kind of the reasons we give, right? And what is the ultimate truth? Is emptiness. Yeah. So everything that exists and that is not emptiness, that we consider as a conventional truth. Yeah. So Bodhicitta is a conventional truth because it's not emptiness. Yeah. And emptiness is an ultimate truth. Yeah. And why is emptiness an ultimate truth? Because it's an ultimate truth for every object you can think of. If it's your body, if it's your mind, is it a table, is it a computer, that building, everything is empty of inherent existence, right? So that's why we call it an ultimate from the point of view. Every object has that kind of, how do you call that? That kind of property. Yeah? Every object has the property of being empty of inherent existence, right? Well, not every object has the property of conventional realities like colors or shapes or things like that. Because sound doesn't have colors and shape, right? Yeah, so that means that these conventional truths, they're not true for every object, but ultimate truth is true for every object. Yeah, and then ultimate truth is also not ultimate by itself, meaning ultimate truth does not exist from its own side, right? Also, emptiness is empty of inherent existence. Yeah, yeah. I think that's answers. Yeah.
And then you started sharing a story about one of the previous Dalai Lamas going to Rajgriha, and maybe you didn't get to the end of his story.
That's true. I'm a bit COVID fog. Yesterday also in the Discovering Buddhism class, I started to tell stories and then was completely lost why I told that story or what the purpose was. Yeah. So I didn't tell that. I didn't. Yeah. Sorry. Good to remind me about that. So yeah. Then I don't know. It was the 6th. I'm not sure which one. Can't remember. Then the Lama went on pilgrimage to Rajgir, and everybody normally you have to walk up the hill like this, and then there's this kind of place on top, right, where the Buddha taught. And I can imagine early days around that all the Arya Bodhisattvas and Arhats were all in space. So, but then the Dalai Lama didn't go, and there's more lamas of the past who didn't go up. Why? Because they looked at the mountain. It's not a mountain, it's more a hill, right? And they saw it was full of texts. Yeah, full of Prajnaparamita texts. And you cannot walk on top of text, right? So they saw that that's a pure vision. We ordinary people, we just see rocks and stones and we just walk, right? But if you have pure vision, if your mind is very pure, you actually see that it's kind of texts, Yeah. It's very interesting if you go to Marathika. You ever been to Marathika? Anyone of you? Not. In eastern Nepal? No? So in Marathika, there's it's very interesting as well. There's a kind of a cave, not the main two caves, but there's a Naga cave a little bit behind the Manjushri mountain, and there they say that that's also a place related with the Nagas and the Perfection of Wisdom Sutras. As you know, Nagarjuna took Perfection of Wisdom Sutras from the Naga realm, right? So there also related with Guru Rinpoche. So I don't know exactly the complete story behind it, but there you have rocks. It's very interesting in the shape of texts. As we normally have this old text in these kind of leaf gaza pages. What do you call it? In individual papers. We have here in the temple.
Like scriptures?
Huh?
Scrolls?
Scrolls, not scrolls, but it's just one paper on top of the other. Yeah. Anyway, you know what I mean, right? Yeah. So that those kind of rocks there, they have that shape. It's very interesting. Yeah. Yeah. So then we don't have pure vision, so we see, oh, interesting, a rock in that shape. But yeah, probably if you have pure vision, you actually see the text, right? Yeah. Yeah. Sorry, forgot the story. Yeah, the part of the story. Okay. Relax.
He's asking about the quote you started with.
They can't
Ale.
hear you.
Where did that come from?
Yeah, the quote I started with comes from the dedication prayer in the Lama Chopa. Yeah, so you don't have to worry about that. But for those who have high Yoga Tantra, they can look into that. They probably know the prayer as well. Yeah, there's a dedication prayer that goes over Lamrim and mind training and the 6 perfections, and then goes into the dedications of the Vajrayana, right? So in the 6 perfections, the dedication prayer in the Lama Chopa, Lama Chopa, those who have high Yoga Tantra initiation, they know what I'm talking about, maybe, or not, but that's a practice of the high Yoga Tantra. Yeah. So for those who don't have high Yoga Tantra, don't have to worry about it, but or have to look into it. But it's kind of a dedication prayer that goes through the whole path. Yeah. So it starts with the Lamrim, and then goes into different aspects of Lamrim, and then mind training, and then Bodhicitta, and then the 6 perfections, and then in the 6 perfections, there's one verse related with effort. Yeah. So, but that same verse you can also find in Shantideva's Bodhisattvacharya Avatara. If you look into Shantideva's Bodhisattvacharya Avatara, probably in the chapter on effort, right? There's probably similar verses you can find. Yeah. It comes from one of the sutras. Yeah. Is it? Okay. Okay, perfect timing. Okay, thank you so much. And then next week we don't have much left, I think, is it? No. So yeah, some people ask for the transmission, so I see if I don't have a cough, I do it. But if I have a cough, then maybe not. Yeah, because that takes a bit of effort. Yeah, so let's see. Yeah, next week. Yeah. Okay then, thank you so much. And then that's dedicate the merit of the studying grounds and paths and conventional ultimate bodhicitta creates causes for enlightenment, particularly today on Labab Dujin, right? Buddha's descent from heaven. So it is very fortunate opportunity to have talked about those points and discussed it and contemplated it. So there's a huge amount of merit created to actually go in that direction. And then on top of that also try to dedicate and thinking you exists from its own side, is empty of existing from its own side, and the dedication also, and the aim or the result of dedication also empty of inner existence. And then that to be dedicated for a long and healthy life of his precious gurus, in particular known as Dalai Lama, and also his spontaneous wish to be fulfilled and the swift return Gyabchilama Zoba Rinpoche and Tushpa Rinpoche, to be of the greatest benefit for sentient beings and the Buddha Dhamma in all future lifetimes, and then also for, of course, to generate the 2 bodhicittas, the conventional bodhicitta and ultimate bodhicitta, realizing emptiness, to be free of obstacles in all lifetimes, and quickly progress on the stages and the paths, and never be parted from the virgin strand. Yeah, so take those lines into account, and then we recite the dedication.
Tagi jene sape gewadi tandan drowa kana gampendan gepa jesun no sanjapa tempe nyimpo rindu saje shongare rawe korwe sinkamsa pendan dewa malu chumene chenre sinwa tenzin gasoi sape site badu tengu chi tu tenji dahan jam gyungewe ten chogyo bella kache rabzupa sunden yu misin pa chu kinje tadre tempe pao du nyu chun Janchu Sanchu Rinpoche Mage Panange Gyuchi Geba Nyampa Mepaya Kone Kondu Pawa Sho Toni Tawa Rinpoche Mage Panange Gyuchi Geba Nyampa Mepaya Gone Kondu Pawa Sho and as long as space remains, as long as my greatest remain, until then may I too remain to dispel the suffering of my greatest. May the King of Dharma, Tsongkhapa's way of Dharma practice flourish, and may the omens of obstacles be pacified, and all conducive circumstances be complete. Through the power of having made single-pointed requests to you, Lusandropa, may all unfortunate manifestations of a degenerated age, illness, famine, quarrelling, epidemic disease, gara spirits, interferers, and so forth be pacified, and may excellent collections of conducive conditions increase. Please bless me that my wishes be swiftly fulfilled. By invoking the power of loving kindness and compassion of chin-raising, and through the force of making extensive prayers, may all sickness, war, fighting, and famine be completely pacified, so that beings have long, healthy, and happy lives. May the glorious Guru's lives be long and stable, and may all beings equal in extent of space have happiness. May I and others, without exception, accumulate merit and purify negativities, and may we be blessed to quickly attain Buddhahood. Kyawa Kandu Yada Lama Dan Treme Chuki Pala Lochuchi Sadan Langi Yuten Rapsune Doje Changi Gupanyu Tu Sho.
Okay, thank you so much. Yeah, people here in this cozy room, people online. Yeah, thank you. See you. See you
We
soon.
wish you speedy recovery, Geshe-la.
Yeah.
Sorry?
We wish you speedy recovery from
Why?
cold.
May you be speedy recovery.
Speedy recovery?
Maybe
Speedy.
it's like post-viral cough.
Yeah, it's just I was almost better last weekend, but somehow today
You didn't close your
people
window.
would knock on my door.
I
Okay.
haven't been letting you rest enough.
Huh? Yeah.